One of the strongest builds in Destiny got even stronger with all the new build crafting options that we got with the new armor mods and all that. So I actually took a variant of this build through the entire Lightfall campaign legendary with 3 players. Never once had any sort of like ammo issues or anything like that. Also, we killed the final boss in less than a minute, which is pretty crazy. I know a lot of people had some issues with it, but this just trivializes everything because it is the Starfire Warlock. It is just absolutely busted. Now, I know this thing isn't brand new or anything like that, but I did just want to post this video to show you guys what I've been running with this setup, just so you guys can speed through everything if you guys are just all about speed and efficiency, getting what you want to have fun. Now, taking a look at our weapons, one thing you guys might notice is that we have 2 specials equipped. This is because this is going to greatly increase the amount of heavy ammo you get. You're almost never going to be out of heavy ammo. And now that grenade launchers are really good, you can use your ammo for ad clear as well. If there's just a ton of things, you can quickly swap to a grenade launcher and just nuke them in like 2 shots. But that is why we're going to be running 2 specials. You guys will just constantly have heavy bricks on the ground, and you'll have 0 issues with your special ammo as well with the special ammo finisher on our class item. But the weapons that we're going to be using is Wither Horde, obviously, with the Starfire. Great way of getting your fusion grenades back. And then I like a trace rifle just because it's closest to a primary weapon. But this one also has lead from gold. So every time you are picking up these heavy bricks, you guys are going to be getting ammo back for your hollow denial, which is really, really nice. If you guys don't have this weapon, any other trace rifles work. The arc one is very good as well, and you can pair that with the Wendigo with double surges, which is really good, and it has volt shot, so you can stun some overloads easier as well. And then I just throw killing tally on there, but it's completely up to you what perks you run on these. The main thing is just having a good trace rifle. And then, like I said, we are going to be using a Wendigo. Auto-loading explosive light is just like the way to go. What I want to be doing once I get the roll is the new seasonal grenade launcher, the Regnant. This thing can also get auto-loading explosive light, so I will be swapping to that once I get that roll, or I can craft it either or, and then I can pair that with hollow denial and run double void surge on my boots. Now, the only time I ever take these grenade launchers off is if I get to a boss phase of like a dungeon or a raid. Then I usually end up going with a rocket launcher. So I like the Roar of the Bear with Demo Vorpal. That's a very good one, but there's plenty of other rockets you can do. You can do an auto-loading rocket as well. And then if there is a boss that can't really be rocketed well, like the Harpy boss in Spire, I like to just throw on a bait and switch Cataclysmic. That is a very common setup with the linears. So starting off with our subclass, obviously, Well of Radiance is going to do a lot for us. Let us get our grenades back. Also, it's going to give us barrier and stuff, which is pretty nice. Empowering Rift, so we can obviously use that with our Starfire. I run Burst Glide and then Celestial Fire, obviously Fusion Nades, Touch of Flame, and then I use Icarus Dash because I like to be able to move around easier. You can use Heat Rises, really does not matter. So our fragments with this setup are going to focus a lot on survivability because we have a ton of damage already. So just being able to just never worry about dying helps out a ton. So those fragments are going to be our Ember of Resolve. So Grenade Final Blows will cure you. Also, Ember of Mercy, picking up a Fire Sprite, grants us Restoration, also plus 10 Resilience, which is very nice. And then to get the Fire Sprites, we also have Defeating Scorch Targets. It's going to give us melee energy, which is very good for extra Scorch. Also, there are different orbs you can make and things like that you can do with the melee. But in general, it's also going to create the Fire Sprite for that restoration. And then finally, I have Ember of Ashes on, so you can apply more Scorch. This is really good for unstoppable champions, so you can get that ignition easier, but there are a couple other options that you can trade this fragment out for. The first being Ember of Solace, so Radiant and Restoration effects applied to you have increased duration. So this is very nice when you pick up those Fire Sprites, you get increased Restoration, so that's going to last longer, so that's in turn more survivability. Or if you're in an activity with a lot of barrier champions, you can go ahead and put on Ember of Torches, so those powered melee attacks that you do will make you radiant, and that will allow you to shoot through the barrier shields. Now, speaking of the artifact, there isn't really anything that is necessary for this. The main ones that I would pick up are Solar Surge, so collecting a Fire Sprite gives you armor charge. It gives you 2 armor charge to be exact, which is really nice, so it helps you keep those stacks up much, much easier. Otherwise, Volatile Flow is very good with the Trace Rifle that I like to use. If you're not using the Trace Rifle that I like to use, you can stay away from this. And then this also works with the Bricks from Beyond, so killing powerful combatants with the Void Weapon has a chance to generate heavy ammo. So the double specials that we're going to be using is going to create a lot of heavy ammo for us, and this will create even more. So you guys will have absolutely no issues whatsoever. Besides that, I just pick the discount mods. There's really nothing else that's going to help us out. You can use like prismatic transfer, but it doesn't even stack with well anyways, which is what you're going to be throwing down. So I wouldn't really worry about this one. All right, now for the meat of the actual build with all of our armor mods. Now, all of these stat bonus mods that I have on, ignore those. I have Artifice Armor, and then this is just what's left over. And I have a lot left over because of the discount mods. So if you guys are watching this in a future season where we don't have these discount mods, don't worry about the stat boosters. Just focus on the actual like armor mods for this. So first, I'm running Ashes to Assets and combining this with Font of Wisdom so we get more intellect. Right now, my intellect is only at 28, which is very, very low. But with this, it's going to be boosting it up, and with Ashes to Assets, you guys can get your wells back so fast. Like, you can almost chain them back to back to back as long as there's enough enemies. And then finally, I'm running Void Siphon. Just match this to whatever trace rifle that you guys are using with this setup. But for me, this is obviously going to be Void. Now, over on our gloves, Firepower, obviously, Grenade Final Blows are going to give us an Orb of Power. This is huge. You guys are going to be creating a ton of orbs, like 50 plus, 75 plus, depending on what activity you're doing and how many kills you're getting. And then I'm using a Void Loader right now. Just match this to your Trace Rifle. This is kind of breaking right now, so you have to equip it and unequip it when you load into a new activity. That'll be fixed in the future, so you won't have to worry about that. And then finally, I'm using Font of Vigor because my strength is also very low, like my intellect, and I want to have Radiant more often for more barriers in terms of endgame content when those are prevalent. So this is just the reason I have this on. If you guys don't care about that, you have good enough strength, you can run like double firepower or even heavy-handed to create more orbs when you get to the melee final blows, but it's completely up to you what you do with that final slot. And then pretty simple on the actual Starfire itself, I'm running 3 charged up just to max out my armor charges. Now, I normally would be running a reserve, but the reserves are breaking like the loaders right now, so I don't have that equipped. So in the future, I'll probably take off one of the charged up and just match it to my heavy. So in the future, that'll be either arc or void reserves, but obviously just match it to whatever you're using. And then on our boots, one of the best mods in the entire game, I will preach this every single build video that we do here on the channel, is recuperation, especially now in this new build era of Destiny. There's just so many orbs all the time. This will save your life just endlessly. It is so good. It gives you a ton of health instantly for just picking up an orb. You can play super aggressive, and every grenade kill you get is going to cure you and spawn an orb itself on that location. So you just run to it and you just keep moving up, keep healing, and you never really have to worry about dying. And then we're going to be running 2 surges. So right now, I do like to have a Void Weapon Surge for my Trace Rifle just because they are a little bit weaker in terms of actual damage. And then I'm just using one for my Heavy when, in this case, I have the Wendigo on. But I'm going to be combining both of these into Void, both of them being Void Surges once I get the Heavy that I want here this season. Then our class item is going to have Time Dilation. I have 2 on right now because Reaper is disabled. Once this is re-enabled, I'm going to go ahead and get rid of one of these Time Dilations and put Reaper on just because we're constantly going to be throwing our Empowering Rift down and throwing our grenades and just getting that back. So there's a ton of free orbs right there. And then finally, Special Finisher in case our ammo RNG is very bad and we're not getting Trace Rifle or Wither Horde shots back. This is going to be our safety net right here. But here's the build's overview if you guys want to screenshot this and copy it over into your own game. So right here is the armor, and here are our weapons and their perks. Yeah, pretty much everybody knows how strong the Starfire is. I just want to show off how strong it can be with the new armor systems. This thing carried me through the legendary campaign like it's nothing. I am speeding through these activities very quickly. Me and a friend who also ran this setup were beating the seasonal activity in less than 10 minutes as well with just a random person on our team. So it wasn't even as fast as it possibly could be with 3 of us. But yeah, there's just so much you can do and speed through with this. We just found out that we're getting all of the strand fragments tonight, which is very cool. So expect a strand build here very soon. But for now, I just want to share what I've been running to speed farm and just get through Lightfall and farm all of my weapons. If you guys have been around the channel for a while, you guys know this is my first video in a very long time, and I'm very excited to be back. I was just kind of waiting for something that I was very excited to jump back into, and Lightfall is that for me. So thank you guys for being patient, and I'm really happy to be back. So thank you guys once again. But anyways, I hope you all have a fantastic day, and I'll catch you all in the next video. See ya.